Greetings, Flat Earth Iconoclast here again, Antonio Subirats. I'm re-uploading the video you're about to see. I wanted to put this introduction, looking at it again. The critical thing to bear in mind is this. The Cutty Sark sailed from Sydney to London, a distance that's longer on the globe than the Antarctica Cup race, in 72 days. The Antarctica Cup race, doing a shorter journey, did that journey in 102 days. That's the critical thing to keep in mind. And I'm re-uploading this because it whistleblows how the globe is a lie. Thank you. Hello. Here's a thought. I have a physical globe. I have a piece of string. Why don't I measure the circumnavigation of Antarctica and Sydney to London again for the Globelings. I'm not sure where my mic is, but I'm going to pull this. This is a piece of string, and I hope that you'll be able to hear it. Okay, listen. It's not elastic. That's why I'm doing that. See, it's not elastic. I'm going to measure the globe. Okay. I'm going to show you what I have first. I have some blue tack in Sydney, and I have some blue tack in Cape Horn, and I have some blue tack in London. London, as the Londoners like to say. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of string. I've made a mark on it already. I've measured it already. Piece of string, and I'm going to start first at Cape Horn all the way back to Cape Horn. Okay. The Antarctic circumnavigation of Antarctica starts to south of Australia, back to south of Australia, but it's more convenient if I do it from Cape Horn. Same thing. Now, the details have changed somewhat. It was not between the 45th and 50th latitude. It was between the 45th and the 60th parallel. That means the route was shorter. So here we have a globe, and it has the degrees there of latitude. So I'm starting here, okay, and I'm going to keep it to, well, that's around 60, just over 60. I'm going to keep it north of that line. Now his report was that he'd been he'd been in the 50s for more than half the race. Or his journey, more than half the time. He explained that he spent more than half of his time in the 50s. That means that it was more than half the race. Okay, so we're going to keep it more than half the circle along that same latitude. Okay, so I'm going round. You see, let me do it like this. Going round, see, I'm just pulling, okay, and I'm pinching. So, I'm not cheating. There's no cheating. You shouldn't cheat. Like, if you lose a bet, you should pay. If you do something wrong, you should own up to it. If you think there's an eclipse of the sun every month and you make a bet, you should pay. And you should give yourself a pat on the back for paying. You know, rescuing some integrity, that kind of thing. So, there. And there. Can you see? Now look, can you see where the mark is? So, I'm going to do it again. Okay, this time I'm going to take it slightly further north, making the circuit longer. For you globe believers, you want this circuit to be much longer than the circuit between Sydney and London, okay? That's what you want, but you have to keep it faithful between 45 and 60, with more than half of it beyond 50, according to him, okay? To Fedor Kunyakov. So, there's 60, the mark for 60 is there, okay? This is just above 60. I'm going to keep it in that line. In fact, I keep it here near near the axis so you can see. Okay, and go round and round. More than half the time spent travelling in the 50s, which is also where the winds are faster. Okay, and now that's a bit more than half. I'm going to take it north a little bit to, well, 45, around 45. No higher, no further north than 45. Those were the rules. Go round, keep going round till I get back to Cape Horn. I'm just getting there. There it is, Cape Horn. Now, going to very carefully pinch here. Oh, look, can you see the mark? Okay. So, that's the distance according to the globe. If the Earth was a globe, you'd be able to express it on a globe, and that would be the distance, okay? Okay. Now we're going to measure from Sydney to London. So one is the first solo circumnavigation of Antarctica between the 45th and the 60th parallel by Fyodor Konyukov. This that I'm measuring now is the journey of the Cutty Sark, which spent most of its journey in the roaring 40s towards Cape Horn because they were trying to get to London quickly. There's Cape Horn. Then they turned at Cape Horn, went through the Falklands and up towards them, which there, can you see? And there's London. See the mark? You see the mark? There's London. Okay? Okay, so the journey to London was longer than the Antarctica Cup race. On a physical globe, and if the Earth is a physical globe, like a real, the Earth is physical, if it's a globe, then you can express it in a globe. Do you want to know what the speeds were? I wrote them down. First, we're going to compare the speeds according to Google Earth and then according to my map. Okay. Google Earth. Speed of the Cutty Sark from Sydney to London, 7.8 knots. Average. That's 9 miles per hour. Speed of the racing maxi, around the furious 40s and 50s, and 5.1 knots. That's 6 miles per hour, rounded up to 6 miles per hour. My map. Average speed of Fyodor Konyukov in his racing maxi, 20 knots, or 23.7 miles per hour. And that's at a very rough glance, okay? 20 knots, 23.7 miles an hour. Average. Speed of the Cutty Sark on my map, 16 miles per hour, or 13.9 knots. I've rounded it up to 16 miles per hour. On my map, flat Earth map. Okay, listen again. The racing yacht, circumnavigating Antarctica, average speed of 20 knots. That's 23.7 miles. Journey from Sydney on my map all the way to London, 16 miles per hour, 13.9 knots. A 964 ton loaded, fully loaded, Cutty Sark, 16 miles per hour. Fully loaded, 16 miles per hour, average. Racing yacht, 23.7 miles per hour. Average. On the globe, 964 ton Curtis arc, 9 miles an hour. Racing maxi, 6 miles an hour. Do you want to know what it looked like when the racing maxi was like travelling in its race? Well, look for yourselves. So, Globelings, you have to deal with this. You can go to Google Earth and try to have it rescue you. It's Google Earth that gave me the figures for the speeds I just told you. This already shows us that the distance between Sydney and London is greater and done in shorter time than the shorter distance done in longer time. That's a that's a cargo ship being faster than a racing yacht. Guess what, Globelings? If cargo ships were faster than racing yachts, then racing people would race cargo ships. Anyway, justify however you must. Thanks for your time.